Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, the Indian stock markets have failed to sustain the opening gains as of yesterday. They remained under pressure, extended their ongoing correction as well. In fact, a sharp sell-off in the second half of trade yesterday on the Nifty, which said over 1%, has now led it to move to a 5-month low as well. All the sectoral indices did end in the red yesterday, with the PSUs, auto sectors as the top losers. The broader indices were also impacted, each dropping nearly 1.5%. Of course, after the earnings and the market session, we did see the macro data numbers also coming through. As far as the CPI numbers are concerned, that has also been disturbing. The retail inflation in October has surged to a 14-month high of 6.2%. This is largely due to the rising food prices, and in contrast, we've actually seen the industrial production show some signs of recovery. The IIP has grown at 3.1% in the month of September as well after the August contraction. Let's see how the markets really pan out from here. Today, we don't even have the global support that we had been usually getting, but despite that, the Indian markets have not had the strength. We'll see today, when both the US markets and the Asian markets have been looking at a negative side, how much worse do we get from here on. Good morning, Shail, and good morning to all our viewers.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have no better way than putting it except that it's the 13th of the month. And let us see how the markets react to it. Anything and everything that can go wrong for Indian equities will be right there in front of you, acting up on the Nifty today. Let's start with the macro number, as Sakshi has mentioned. 6.21 is the consumer price inflation for October. This is the highest since July 2023. And what is to be blamed? You all know it at the breakfast and the dinner table and the lunch table. The better half tells you regularly that vegetable and food prices, as also fruits, have shot through the roof. That is because of the kind of erratic and difficult monsoon that we had. So food prices are the primary reason responsible for a 6.21 percentage point print on the inflation number. Sakshi is nodding her head, and I'm very sure that she agrees that all that the purchases that happen on a regular basis to stack your kitchen up have become expensive month on month, especially over the last 4 months or so. So inflation is a negative. Now let's start with the chart of the Nifty. What you see in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, was a 1 percentage point cut yesterday at 23,883. The low of the Nifty, the most recent low, is 23,820, and that is most likely to be tested today. Once that falls, you will see an acceleration towards the purple line, which is the 200-day moving average, roughly 23,580, 23,550, depending upon the chart that you check and the average that you use. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is coming because everything is abandoning the bulls on Dalal Street. Cues from Wall Street are now negative after a record rally over the last 4-5 days. So that is something that is going to be heavy on the shoulders of bulls. The US 10-year yield refuses to ease, now at 4.5%. With inflation rising in India, now local yields will also rise, and that basically puts all hopes of an interest rate cut in India in the background. So that is a very strong negative coming in for local bulls. The dollar index briefly went above 106 yesterday. It's the most painful thing for Indian equities, prompting FII net sales. Sakshi will give you the number. The number is higher. But for the last 32 trading sessions, each single day, the net FII number has been in the negative. All told, in 33 sessions, we are seeing them withdraw 1,50,000 crore rupees. That has hit the Indian rupee as well. Now look at what is also happening. Because the index is sloping down, all moving averages are pushing it down. And now call writers at 24,000, 23,900 are also very active. These are basically bears. So selling pressure on 24,400, 300, 200, 100, and since yesterday at 24,000 and 23,900. That's a selling pressure that is pushing the Nifty towards 200-day DMA. Now, what else needs to be done, Sakshi? Today, Superman will retire. This is the Bank Nifty. The last weekly expiry of Bank Nifty, ladies and gentlemen, is today. We've had a wonderful life of the Bank Nifty, and as you can see, the pink line is where the Bank Nifty rested yesterday, 720 points lower. That pink line, ladies and gentlemen, is the 100-day moving average. Most likely that will also break today. And for the last about 20-22 trading sessions, you have seen the pink line hold and keep the Nifty Bank in good shape. That seems to get broken today given the downtrend that we are expecting. And as it says, all goodbyes are painful, but the one to the Bank Nifty on the weekly expiry will hurt the most. This was the Superman of Indian markets. It should have gone home with great fanfare, but such is life, and this is how markets pan out over periods of time, that it will make a very quiet exit today. So goodbye to the weekly expiry of the Bank Nifty. This is the last that will happen today, unless SEBI and NSE decide otherwise, but that periodic review is far away. So we will retire the Superman of Indian options and Indian futures, as well as the world's highest traded options index at 3:30 p.m. Bank Nifty options will walk into the sunset. With that, Sakshi, now tell us what is happening on Wall Street. I believe now profit booking is seen at record highs. You need to cheer up. You know, these kind of things happen. I'm wearing green, you are wearing red. We are doing all that we can between us to entice the bulls to come back on the last street. ये सब होता है, और इसी के लिए तो हम लोग बाजार में हैं, that we guide all those people who are watching us to try and buy a quality equity diversified fund at current levels. And things will improve, don't worry. For every dark night, there is a morning that comes the next day without fail.
That's wonderful, Shail. Yes, of course. But we'll have to at least let all the viewers know what is it as the trade setup for today, because globally, again, after those 5 days of a rally, after that Trump victory has played out, there is some excesses that are now getting taken out as well. So on Tuesday, we did see Dow Jones end about 0.8% down at 43,910. The S&P 500 ended about 0.3% down at 5983. The Nasdaq Composite just below the flat line, 0.09% lower at 19,281. Remember, S&P 500 has declined after record the best 5-day gains in a year that the index has really seen as well. And all of this is also due to the yield on the 10-year US Treasury, which has jumped 14 basis points to 4.44% as well. Of course, traders are now expecting Trump policies, which could be probably causing further increase in the US debt levels. Market participants also expect inflation to further rise as well. That may also currently impact the safe haven assets too. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Brent crude was up marginally, 0.08% higher at $71.89 a barrel. Bitcoin has now stayed at $88,423, while gold spot was up marginally again, 0.03% higher at $25.99 an ounce right there. Asian markets also declined following the US market cues, and what we've seen is that the Nikkei was down about 1% or so. We've seen Kospi decline 1.7%, Hang Seng China, all of them down, and the Gift Nifty now indicating an opening at 23,905, flattish with a negative bias right there. Overseas investors, like Shail has pointed out, 32nd consecutive day when they have sold off in the Indian markets, 3,024 odd crore rupees. The DIIs did mop up but only 1854 odd crore rupees worth of stocks, so not matching that figure, which until thus far, all through October, was an equal or a higher number from the DII's rights. They will keep on monitoring that too. A whole host of stocks that you can keep an eye out on the back of earnings. Bosch came out with numbers. Consolidated YOY numbers show revenues uptick of 6.5%, EBITDA improved by 14%, margins up 85 basis points at 12.74%. However, the net profit was down 46% at 536 crores. This was due to the one-time gain of 49 odd crore rupees versus 785 odd crore rupees that we had seen earlier. Now, Nykaa also came out with the numbers. Revenue up 7.5% at 1875 crores. This is largely in line with the earnings estimate. EBITDA up 8.5% at 104 crore rupees. We've seen the margins just marginally up by 4 basis points at 5.54%. Net profit improved 44% at 13 odd crore rupees. However, this is lower than the estimates that were penciled in. Of course, BSE is the number that you should be watching out for. Consolidated YOY numbers show a sharp uptick of 31% on the net profit at 346 crores. Margins improved by 543 basis points at 52.14% versus 46.7%. EBITDA improved by 37% at 389 crores and revenues improved by 23%. So good set of numbers coming in from BSE. Ashoka Buildcon, another good set of numbers. Revenue improvement of 15%, EBITDA up by 66% at 905 crores, margins up almost 1,000 basis points at 36.35%, and the net profit sharply higher by 331% at 462 odd crore rupees. Sharp set of numbers coming in. EIH is another one from the hotel space that's reported good set of numbers. Revenue uptick of 11% at 589 crores. EBITDA up 21.5%. Margins up 259 basis points to 29.7%. Net profit up 42% at 133 odd crore rupees as well. So those are some of the earnings that we'll keep an eye out on. And remember, viewers, today Swiggy will be debuting on the stock exchanges. The issue price was 390 and the issue was subscribed 3.6 times on the final day, but this was largely thanks to the QIB portion, because we've actually seen the NII portion not getting fully subscribed. The retail and the employee portion did get fully subscribed, albeit with just some margins right there. Shail.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be an exciting day, and if it is an exciting day, how can Gaurang Shah miss all the excitement? Let's welcome our very dear friend, Mr. Shah, Senior Vice President at Geojit Financial Services. नमस्कार गौरांग जी, स्वागत है आपका, शुभ प्रभात। और 13वां दिन है, क्या अक्षर 13 भारतीय बाजारों के लिए कुछ और बुरे लक्षण लाता हुआ दिख रहा है, या आपको लगता है कि बहुत पिटाई हो गई, अब यहाँ से रिवर्सल करें, या यहाँ तक आ चुके हैं तो 200 डीएमए पर एक मोहर लगा देते हैं और फिर ऊपर चढ़ेंगे? क्या लगता है?
साक्षी को और सभी दर्शकों को हमारा सादर प्रणाम और शुभ प्रभात। पिटाई कहाँ हुई है शैल जी? मुश्किल से 10% के आसपास की गिरावट हुई है, इसको पिटाई थोड़ी बोलते हैं। और इस प्रकार की मार झेलना हमें आदत पड़ गई है, तो मेरे ख्याल से हमें शिकायत बिल्कुल ही नहीं करना चाहिए। हम अक्सर मैं वही बात कहता हूँ शैल भाई, कि हम अक्सर बात कर रहे हैं कि गोरों ने 1 लाख करोड़ से ज्यादा बेचा, लेकिन हम ये नहीं देखते हैं कि स्थानीय संस्थागत निवेशकों ने 1 लाख करोड़ से ज्यादा खरीदा है। अगर ये खरीदारी नहीं होती तो शायद हम 40% के आसपास नीचे होते हैं शैल भाई। तो गिरावट तो मेरे ख्याल से एक बहुत ही मामूली सी 10% के आसपास की गिरावट है। और अगर आपको 10, 15, 20% गिरावट झेलने की क्षमता नहीं है शेयर बाजार में, तो थोड़ा आत्मचिंतन करिए और सोचिए कि क्या आपको शेयर बाजार में आकर के निवेश करना है। बिकॉज हम अक्सर ये कहते हैं शैल भाई, शेयर बाजार सभी जोखिमों के अधीन होता है, लेकिन अगर आपने अच्छी सक्षम कंपनियों में लंबी अवधि के लिए निवेश किया है तो यही शेयर बाजार आपको सबसे ज्यादा से ज्यादा मुनाफा खड़ा करके देता है। जहां तक आपका प्रश्न है बिकवाली का, एज फार एज योर क्वेश्चन अबाउट सेल साइड इज कंसर्न, आई थिंक पॉसिबली वी मे हैव अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ मोर। यस्टरडे वी सॉ व्हाट हैपेंड, maybe there is a little bit more. Very soon these so-called goras are going to go on their Christmas vacation wearing the red hat. So I think they will possibly try to have a little bit of more sell side figure, but I am really not bothered. I think I am getting shares to get invested it from a long-term point of view at a very decent valuation compared to what we were at 26,200 plus and currently at about 23,900 or thereabouts. I think you should have some courage to go and put some money. If not directly, then go via mutual fund, go via lump sum, go via SIPs. But start that process. Don't wait to find the bottom or don't wait to find the top. You will never be able to do that. And my sense is that we should possibly find some stability. We are again, yes, after yesterday's correction, the week 10 days back low that we saw on Nifty of 23,816. I think that should, according to us, what outlook we gave out, Shell by was 23,800 to 2400 is the zone where you will try to find a bottom. The Nifty, the market would try to find a bottom and then possibly gradually start moving up. But the most important thing over here we have to look at is India VIX has to settle down somewhere around 12 or below. If India VIX is at 14 plus, then the volatility is going to be at an elevated level.
Right. Good morning to you, Gaurangji, and thank you so much for taking the time out. This is the time when investors are nervous and they really need to hear that calm voice that you bring in always on the screen to talk about as if it is nothing, and that's what exactly that we need at this point in time, because all across they're only saying how much more downside, and you're saying even if it is there more, it's only going to be seen as a positive and an opportunity to perhaps invest in hindsight right there. So tell us, Gaurang, where exactly are you finding that opportunity, in this, after this 10% correction in the markets? Would you stick with the large caps, the ones within the banks, ITs, pharma? Would you have other pockets to actually discover at this point in time?
Well, Sakshi, I think it's always thank you and morning to you as well. Aapko bhi pranam, Sakshi. Suprabhat aapko. So I think it's really prudent, and we as a brokerage house, Sakshi, we always try to create informed investors, not ill-informed traders, and that's what our basic theme is.
Yes.
And the more informed investors you create, the larger the base grows and the stronger the market grows from there. Larger the base of ill-informed traders, so will be a weak market and so will be the collapse. So in that process, what we strive for, we always advocate that look at large cap first. And primarily so because, Sakshi, all these selling that we've seen from the FIs was largely in the front line because by default they have to invest in that. So larger part of exposure was in front line and they have corrected and they have corrected quite fair. So I would say look at large cap first and then possibly depending upon certain sectorial themes, look at mid caps. Small and micro cap still remains to be a far distant kind of a dream for us to pick anything. Sectorially, if you ask me, Shail Bhai and you are witness to our commentary for the last 4 years, 3 years, 4 years that IT will be good, IT will turn around and it has started to turn around. So when people were advocating that stay away from IT, we were the ones who were advising that look at IT. And if you had invested at that point of time, you are still laughing your way to the bank because of the kind of in-deep profit that you are in. Cap goods, engineering, power, select defense stocks. I cannot go without saying defense sector, talking about defense sector. And I would say cement. These are primarily the areas, including, of course, banking, both public as well as private banks, with some strong NBFC institutions. So make a basket of 5 or 6 sectors. Cherry pick 2-3 names from there, by default, of course, large cap names, and then possibly make a nice, decent portfolio and stick to that principle and invest in those stocks every month via an SIP. I think by the time we are next year, this time, possibly November 25, I think we'll be discussing a very comfortable zone for the markets.
Absolutely. Gaurang, when we think back in life, we are always nostalgic. कितने अच्छे दिन थे और कितने आराम से निकल गए, कितनी हमने मेहनत करी, we were well rewarded. But that is only in hindsight. It's the days when they continue that the pain is felt, which is what we are discussing. You talk about a 9.5% correction being par for the course. Well, my friend, that's only on the Nifty. I am talking about, 30, 35, 50% corrections that have happened on stock prices. Let's not take names, but all of us are familiar with those stocks. That is what is probably hurting the retail guys a lot. But full marks to them. Look at the SIP number, 25,000 crore rupees coming in for the month of October. That's a very, very big relief. And it's the balance that this number is providing to the net FII sales. Be that as it may, but the cup of woes is now running over. Look at the inflation print, 6.1 for the month of October. Sakshi and I were discussing our kitchen bills. I am sure you will agree to the fact that they've shot through the roof. Food inflation is up 10%. Does it essentially mean that the rate cut that we were possibly expecting in December is now out of the window?
Shail bhai, Honorable RBI Governor never mentioned a time frame. It was people like us who were trying to ape what the Fed was doing. I mean, for the love of God, the US economy, US data points, our economy, our data point, Fed's thinking, our monetary policy thinking, governors thinking, I beg to differ, it has to differ. I mean, we can't just ape central banks across the globe and do accordingly and then fall flat on our face. I was never of that camp that December will be the rate cut. I was never of that opinion. In fact, I still doubt whether we will get a rate cut in early part of Jan, Feb, March 2025. And the point that was made was absolutely clear, not only by our RBI governor, but also by the Fed chair, that rate cuts will be totally data dependent. It is not going to be emotionally dependent like what we think. So we have to be clear about what our expectations are and what we want out of such kind of institute which have a durable impact on the economy and on the GDP growth rate. So my thought process is still that maybe, just maybe, we may get a rate cut, possibly in Jan, Feb, March 2025, provided the inflation is closer to that 4% mark or below that. This 6% plus howler that you're talking about, I think we have to see longer data as far as inflation is concerned. Some data for a shorter period of time may disappoint you, and that if you believe that disappointment, if you believe in that disappointment will possibly make you take a decision which you may regret over a longer period of time. So my sense is that look at durable data rather than short-term data.
Now, Garangji, another space is the IPO space, and today Swiggy will be debuting on D Street, and we have to ask you, Zomato versus Swiggy, where would you continue to be positive on? And post-listing, what would you really expect and how would you advise investors? Because the subscription was not very enthusiastic. We don't know how the listing really pans out, but how would your advice be?
Well, Sakshi, I have both the apps, Swiggy as well as Zomato. And I also use Swiggy's Instagram, and I also use Zomato's Blinkit.
Okay.
That's the disclosure. So I'm contributing to the top line and bottom line, like you and possibly Shail bhai if you have the
Yes.
download on your smartphones. As far as your question goes, so we have you and Shail bhai will remember Zomato was covered during the IPO, post the IPO, especially when the crash happened from Zomato, 140, 150 odd levels to 60, 50 rupees.
Yes.
We again initiated a coverage over there, and we are still maintaining with the target of 285, very conservative target. I'm sure we will upgrade it as we go forward. As far as Swiggy is concerned, we have a subscribe note on Swiggy, but let me just a word of cautious, Sakshi. Swiggy is still in red, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. The price to book is much expensive compared to Zomato. Swiggy's price to book is a little bit higher compared to Zomato. Don't get carried away the way you got carried away when Ola Electric Mobility got listed. Everybody thought that they are not in 1,500 crore loss, but they are making 1,500 crore profit. And you know what happened after that?
Yes.
Went to 150 and now it's struggling. So we have a subscribe on Swiggy, but it is purely from a long-term point of view, Sakshi. I am not in a position, I am not capable to give any comments or any levels in terms of what the listing is going to be or how much premium will the stock get listed at a premium compared to the floor price that the company has decided. But mark one thing, it is going to be challenging, it is going to be difficult. Yes, in terms of pricing, if I have to compare Zomato and Swiggy, I think Swiggy looks a little bit, not much, little bit richly valued. This is my personal opinion, Sakshi. But again, this is an evolving business, a new age technology, and I think footfalls and reach will only grow going forward from here on. And I think the subscriber base is also going to grow.
Yes. Sakshi, I want to close the market. 270 points higher on the Nifty. Let's get Gaurang an air ticket, bring him over to Delhi and enjoy the day. मतलब 24,000 आ गया बस. गौरांग जी आप आ जाइए, बहुत हो गया. ये 24,000 हमारी तरफ है. अब ये बस यही बंद कर देते हैं बाजार और फिर प्लान करेंगे दिन का. स्विगी लिस्ट हो रहा है, जोमेटो से खाना ऑर्डर करेंगे और अपने छोले भटूरे पर बात करते हुए दिखेंगे. चलिए क्या करें, ये मेरे और आपके हाथ में नहीं है. ये क्या कहते हैं, ये दिन भी निकालना पड़ेगा. लेकिन 214 अंक ऊपर है. हरा रंग जो मैंने पहना है और लाल जो साक्षी पहन के आई हैं, शायद हमारे बुल्स आपको जागते हुए दिख रहे हैं. प्रभु करे ये दिन बार बार आए. चलिए अब देखते हैं क्या हो रहा है बाजार में. ओके, HDFC बैंक 72 रुपीज हायर, 1789. This will all slip down, ladies and gentlemen, but it is so good to see green on the screen after 33 days. Okay, ICICI Bank 29 rupees 40 higher, 1300. L&T 33.50 higher, 36.24. Okay, Infosys 9 rupees higher, Reliance 4.75 rupees higher, and Tata Motors inching up 7 rupees at 792. Surely, but positively, you are seeing the Nifty slipping lower. TCS 47 rupees lower, Axis Bank 19 rupees lower, and of course you have Reliance now 9 rupees down. We'll just come back to the Nifty. These are very, very volatile times. Let's look at the first stock on the mind. BSE, strong set of numbers, 5% higher, fresh record high, 4,884. What else is moving in sync? You have NTPC. Okay, the NTPC green IPO, ladies and gentlemen, will be coming on stream in November. 10,000 crore rupee IPO, a decent price of 108 rupees as the ticket. And then you see NTPC 1.2% higher. Remember, all those who have NTPC in their portfolios will get an allotment in the shareholder quota as well. Please keep this in mind when you look at NTPC from now on. Okay, Tata Elxsi makes an appearance on the top traded, 2.4% higher. There are slippages happening on ITC and State Bank of India. HAL and BEL are down marginally. And of course, Voltas is minorly up. I am seeing a 5 percentage point uptick on Amara Raja battery at 1333. Let's see what is running that. But for the moment, the Nifty, ladies and gentlemen, is now down 105 points, 23,777. This is a fresh 5-month low, and this is going to be painful because the gap down will now accelerate further. Gaurangji, any view that you would have on the Bombay Stock Exchange? Is this something which is an island of safety for all those who have the stock? Of course, they should hold, but a fresh entry at 48.50, or should we avoid?
Shail, it's going to be difficult to give a direct recommendation over here because we don't have coverage. But let me say this for the sector, which is the stock market, Indian stock market. Whether you are a service provider, whether you are a platform provider, or whether you are an intermediary, or any other association of that particular company with the stock markets, data analytics, etc., etc., etc. All these companies are likely to do well. Given the outlook of the next 3-5 years or more as to how this Indian stock market is going to perform. So your participation is going to go up, your volumes are going to go up, your fees are going to go up, your AMCs are going to go up, your brokerages are going to go up. Whether 4,800 is a safe level to get in or not, I am no one to possibly say that. But just remember one thing, if your theme is the Indian stock market and your view is for the next 3 to 5 years or maybe more, then I think all those entities are going to perform quite well. Remember one thing, Shelby, anything that goes up has to also come down, the law of gravity. So one needs to be also cautious about that particular fact.
Okay, let's welcome Mitesh Panchal with us. I think he's with us to try the technicals, or I think he will be joining us pretty shortly. We'll go to him, but let's again go back to some stocks then and ask Gaurang to give us his views. Like you had initially pointed out in one of your answers on the FIIs, Gaurang, today, that with the kind of sell-off that we are seeing, it's the large caps that are still not able to really pull up in trade. Especially the stocks like HDFC Bank and Reliance Industries is what I wanted to understand from you. Till the reversal really happens on the FIIs, do you think these kind of stocks will continue to lie low? And what should be the strategy on such heavyweight counters? Reliance, I think, has given zero returns for this year thus far, and on net balance. And HDFC Bank, after showing that initial bout of a rebound, it's still on a consolidated zone. Your sense?
So, Sakshi, before I answer that question, let me talk about the disappointment we are talking about of this 10 odd percent, whatever it is. The way the markets have disappointed you for the month of October and possibly the beginning, whatever 10, 12 days that we've seen of November, this market, don't forget, surprised you from Jan 24 till September end 24. So you had a decent about 9 odd months of pleasantries as far as the stock market is concerned. After this disappointment of maybe about a month, month and a half odd, I am quite sure this market will again please, and it will definitely throw a surprise at you when the recovery happens. It is only a matter of time. So these adjustments are going to happen in the market now and going into the future. Now, coming to your question as far as the Reliances and the HDFCs of the world are concerned,
Yeah.
we have been blanket disclosure positive on both these names for as long as I remember in terms of the fundamental coverage. Reliance Industries, I think about 1550 or thereabouts is the target on the long term side, and I think HDFC also. HDFC, I think now the question with respect to the merger and the synergies and the performances in the back burner, it's gone in the rear view mirror. And now with the first and the second quarter numbers that we've seen this financial year, I think HDFC is also preparing itself to possibly take to the next level. So I think to climb close to about 2000 cannot be ruled out. I'm giving an approximate target on HDFC Bank. Also, the theme is that banking will do well on fallback of loan book growth, margins improvement. Deposit run rate is a question not only for HDFC Bank, but all the private sector banks and public sector banks, deposit mobilization is concerned. But then these banks and the management have found alternative source of creating liquidity or generating liquidity. For Reliance Industries, I think the great turnaround that will happen in the balance sheet is not only from your current new gen business, but also from the green hydrogen and the solar, huge investment that they've spoken about, Sakshi. So you need to have, and like I said, these FIs sell first in the large cap names because that's where they have got invested
Yeah.
left, right, center. So by default, these names also have to correct. As simple as that.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nifty has tantalizingly closed the pre-open session at its previous low, 23,822, down 61. All four major indices, which is the NSE 500, the Nifty, Nifty Bank and IT, are on the back foot, and we are waiting for Mitesh Panchal. But Gaurang, today is the last day of the weekly expiry of the Bank Nifty. In my mind, Superman is retiring, and retiring very, very quietly. I wish he had gone out in style with a record high and a 10% uptick on the Bank Nifty, but then those are just fond hopes. Any thoughts that you would have on the Bank Nifty? We are bidding it goodbye today as far as the weekly format is concerned.
Don't mind Shell, but this is my personal opinion again. If you want to create an investor base, I'm talking about investor base, I'm not talking about traders, okay? What on earth made you bring this kind of a product? I mean, what were you thinking about? You are only giving fuel to the fire, isn't it? 1 month expiry was not enough that you got in this kind of variants of weekly expiry, and you then possibly introspect. I'm not blaming anybody, mind you, I'm just making a point over here, Shell, because we all talk about creating investor base. We don't talk about creating traders base because that's not viable and durable also. So you should have thought about it that this will eventually lead to a huge financial destruction. And these are, as Mr. Warren Buffett has said, these are weapons of financial mass destruction. And you are adding fuel to the fire. I mean, that was surprising. So I think, okay, fine. Now we have woken up to the bright side. I'm glad that this is going away. And I beg to differ, Shell. It was no Superman. It did not create wealth. It has actually deteriorated people's wealth from a hero to zero. So I beg to differ over there. But again, I think discipline has to be at the forefront as far as equity markets are concerned, whether it is cash or whether it is derivative.
Okay, got it. So that's as far as the F&O space is concerned. But Gaurang, I also wanted to ask you on the earnings front yet again, especially on the earnings that have come about from the FMCG space. Remember, we've discussed about when the earnings came in for Nestle or ITC. Yesterday, it was Britannia that also dragged by about 7% on the earnings disappointment. And the one key factor that comes in is the slowdown in consumption, especially in the urban areas. How are you really looking at that space, and what does this really indicate for the FMCG sector?
देखिए साक्षी, ये दूसरी तिमाही के नतीजे जो आए वो बारिश के बाद तुरंत थे, ठीक है. गुड मॉनसून वाज देयर, क्रॉप was standing in the field, in the farms. It was yet to be chopped off. It had to be refined of all the impurities, dust, and then it was yet waiting in the tractor trailers to be transported to the mandis, from wherein the farmers would get their direct cash transfer benefit by selling all that crop. My sense is that this was a blip. I'm assuming and I'm hope that it was a blip. FMCG, I think there are more than half a dozen names, Sakshi, that features in our fundamental universe. And I always maintain that India was, is, and always remain a consumption-driven economy. Who's and who's of the world are wanting to come and set up their shop in India as far as this sector is concerned. And there are going to be a lot of opportunities. The only problem was one, lower demand to the volumes front from semi-urban rural India. And the second was a little bit of volatile crude oil prices, because that's an important ingredient as far as the raw material cost input is concerned for FMCG companies. But going into the third, fourth, and the next financial year, I think these should settle down. And more importantly, the push from semi-urban and rural is going to be back in the forefront from third quarter onwards. This is what our view is.
Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's just take a detour into some other stock prices. Sakshi, when I'm looking at the top most active 20-30 stocks on the F&O space, it's not very comforting. Only 4 or 5 of them are in the green, the entire 30 trading in the red. We'll just mark Bosch. Normally we don't discuss this stock, but this is on the back of earnings. 2.2% higher, 34,000 is the opening quote. Motherson also 0.5% higher. Again, this is a very, very well-known auto ancillary. In fact, the largest auto ancillary that we have. Power Finance Corporation continuing from yesterday's rally, up 5.5%. And of course, Bharti Airtel and Tata Motors. Gaurang, Tata Motors has been one of these examples where bears have run a rampage, but you've had a very soft corner for Tata Motors for a very long while, and it worked fabulously well from 300 to 1100. and now back at 780. What is your long-term view here?
I'm still positive, Shell, and I think 1200, 1250 will be a reality. It's only a matter of time. You have a couple of events happening. One is the demerger of commercial vehicle business. Second one is management's efforts in striving towards making the balance sheet debt free. Third one is the recently announced stimulus, so-called stimulus, according to Michel, in China, which happens to be a big market, a huge market for JLRs. Not that Tata Motor only sells JLR in China; they sell it to the rest of the world also, including India. But that happens to be a big market. So that will help the high-end premium segment uh, contribution to the balance sheet. Recovery that we are witnessing in the CV segment will also aid to the thought process in terms of recovery that the management has spoken about. And then coming down to the passenger vehicles, both compact, sedan, high-end luxury curve, and SUVs. I think they've got a good product mix. The sad part is that certain news flows along with the numbers were not very encouraging, and hence from 1000 plus levels we saw the stock correct to maybe about sub 800. We still maintain a positive stance. If you missed out on investing into Tata Motors, I think you should take that step forward.
Let's now start looking at the market. The first initial 1 or 2 minutes, the market is defending 828, which was the previous low thereabouts. Let's see how it goes. 53 points lower on the Nifty, and minor downticks on the IT, Nifty Bank and NSE 500 as well. So there is a mild shade of red across the board as far as the markets are concerned. Let us see how it pans out. Let's look at the big boy. Okay, let me start with the good news. HDFC Bank, 8 rupees higher, 1726. What else is in the green? I will purposely mark stocks in the green today. Let's see how it goes. Tata Motors, 0.5% higher, 788. You have L&T, 4 rupees 40 higher, Infosys 1 rupee 50 higher. Now what is in pain? It's Axis Bank, 0.5 percentage points lower, 1151.6. ITC 0.5 percentage lower, 2 rupees down, 470.75. TCS is 13 rupees lower, Reliance is 6 rupees lower, Bajaj Finance 18 rupees lower, and you have SBI flat. So for the moment it's Infosys and HDFC Bank which are sort of trying to help the Nifty not break 23,828. Nice shade of green in top traders on FNO. Power Grid, 0.3% higher. You have NTPC 1.7% higher. I'm looking forward to this stock. You have Asian Paints 0.5% higher. How nice. This is fairly okay in the FNO space. Top gainers, Bosch 2.7% higher, 34,199. Manappuram again finding support at 1.3% higher, 160. Remember we started discussing this stock at 135 when the RBI led pain was visible on the stock in ample measure. Coforge in the green, fresh record high, 0.5% higher. It's okay, nothing bad as far as opening is concerned. Top gainers, I want to see what BSE is doing. The stock is right there in front of you. This is flat as flat can be, 46.82. Okay, we'll keep an eye out on that one as well. Nykaa post a strong set of numbers, almost 4.5% higher, 185. Adani Power in the green, JSW Energy in the green, and from the pharma space we are represented by Suven Pharma 2.4% higher, Piramal Pharma 1.2% higher, Natco Pharma strong earnings 2.5% higher, and Concord Biotech 1.5% higher, 1894. All told, it's not a bad opening at all. The Nifty is 39 points lower. Bank Nifty is in the green on its weekly expiry day, and the IT index is also showing green shoots, marginally in the green. Let's see how it goes, but this is how it is in the initial trades. I'm wondering if Mitesh is with us. No, not as yet. Gaurang, nothing much to be worried about. This looks like a decent opening for today.
Well, I don't think so, and I hope it stays that way, Shell, because we need to, as I mentioned, the volatility needs to settle down. We
Yes.
opened like what happened yesterday, even days before yesterday. We've seen good openings, but then all that kind of fizzles off in the first hour and a half, or then the last 1 hour. So I think this is not bad. We should possibly hold out over here and possibly see some. My only point is, rather than seeing a fantastic recovery, I think the market should possibly do a base building exercise.
Yes.
That is very necessary, Shell. I think that will bring us the confidence. These choppiness, volatility is something that really shakes you off on both sides, whether you go long or whether you go short. So I think it is prudent to see some kind of sanity return to the market, make a base building exercise, and hold out, for a couple of days rather than just opening up with some smart gains and then just melting it off. So let's hope it hold out.
Wonderful. We'll also welcome Mitesh Panchal now with us, who's going to be tracking the technicals for us. Finally, Mitesh, lines got through and we are able to talk to you. Tell us, how are you really looking at the market setup? 23,816 right now. Will this really hold out for the markets as a base, or will we see a further downside in today's trading session? How are you really looking at both the Nifty and the Nifty Bank?
Good morning, Sakshi. Good morning, Shailji. Good morning to the panelists and all our viewers. Sakshi, our approach right now is just to prepare ourselves for the buying list. So we are actually not bothering about the index, whether it will go to 12% or 15%, or it will hold at 10%. So basically, we are of the view that if we are breaking up the numbers so far, then this is the first time in last 10 or 15 years where I see that in such a big correction, the micro cap and the small cap has not witnessed a correction which even the headline index has witnessed. So let me give you some statistics. Nifty has gone down by 9.11% based on yesterday's close from the 52-week high. But if you compare micro cap and small cap, they have gone down by just 7.38% and 7.98% only. So this is a complete contrast with respect to the market right now. Even if you look at the Nifty Midcap 50 index, it has gone down by 10.11%. So there are two indices which has already crossed the 10% mark, which is first Nifty 50, which has gone down by 12.15%, and Nifty Midcap 50, which has gone down by 10.11%. So we are of the view that it is a time to open the checkbooks. It is a time to take the leverage in the market only in selected micro cap and small cap indices. So our view is absolutely contra right now. We are not looking at whether the indices will form a bottom at 21,000, 22,000, or probably at 10% fall, that exactly comes at 23,650. But I think if you pay a lot of attention to the small and mid cap stocks, there are many who gives you a great buying opportunity right now, and probably in the next 3 years there are strong possibilities that you will end up making handsome return. So our approach right now to the market is very stock specific, opening up the checkbooks, taking the leverage in some of the counters, and just be prepared with our buying list.
Wonderful.
नमस्कार मितेश जी, मतलब दिल को छू लिया आपने। अब ये चेकबुक तो आप ही निकालेंगे, अब बताइए खरीदना क्या क्या है।
देखिए, within the entire micro cap and small cap stock, there are few stocks which we think one should buy as of now. First is dynamic product. The stock is trading at around 422 levels or 440 levels. This is one stock which we are buying. Second is ESUP India at 6,083. That is what we are buying right now. Apart from that, we are looking at stocks like KSB Pump at 828, Lakshmi Electricals at 1301. And the list is long, but still let me conclude. Apart from that, what we are looking at is a Sesa Sai Paper, Ratnamani Metal, Thirumalai Chemical, Swaraj Engine. So these are the stocks which we are buying right now, sir.
Could you rename the stocks, please, Mitesh? We have failed to understand the first two.
Yeah, so it is first which I have mentioned was a dynamic product at 444.
Dynamic
Apart
products.
From,
Okay.
yeah, 444 dynamic products. The symbol is DYNPRO. Second
Okay.
is East India at 5950. Third, you can add Gandhi Special Tube at 783. And the list is long, as I said. But again, I think what we think as a house is that this is a COVID moment. Uh, you should get into these kind of stocks to make money in the next 3 years. No need to look at the indices or to see to it that at what level it will make a floor, because this is a match in which even if you deploy the best of the best bowler, the bears are not ready to leave the pitch. So better to stay, because again the money will be made on the long side rather than the short side. So this is our house, right?
Okay. What we'll request Mitesh is to please send us the names on WhatsApp. We couldn't catch many of them, and it will be a very big benefit for our viewers to look at or hunt stocks in the small and the mid cap space. Meanwhile, it's not as bad as it was hoped to be. Just 29 lower on the Nifty. So 23,850 is where the battle is. The early morning trade saw the low being tested, but it's not been breached. So let's hope that the first 15-minute candle is positive, and then we'll look at it beyond 9:30. A quick detour into broader markets, and let us see how the bulls and bears are battling it out when it comes to advanced decline ratios. Well, it's not good. Only 750 stocks are in the green versus 1400 that are in the red. So 1:2 favoring bears. Sakshi and I tracked 19 indices for you. 16 are in the red. There's just a minor green tick on Bank Nifty, Financial Services Nifty, and the IT index. Losses are on the Pharma index, down about 0.9. Auto index 0.9 lower. Metals index has shed another 0.8. Small cap is down 0.7%. Mid cap index is down 0.5%. But that's the broader picture. It always gladdens my heart to look at record highs in a market that is down or sideways. And in terms of NSE 500, well, they are not in a happy mood. None of the stocks have hit a high so far. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the broader market for you. Maybe some railway stocks are doing well, but let's take a look at them. RVNL 2.5% higher, BEML 2.5% higher. You have Hind Rectifier 1.4% higher. Sakshi's favorite Jupiter Wagons quoting 1.7% higher. Ircon Railtel, IRFC, Concor, and IRCTC. This is the PSU railway pack, up anywhere between 1.5, 2 percentage points. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Not a painful start to the day. Let us see how it happens. And KNR Construction is in top form today, 14% higher, 323. Anything that catches your interest, Mitesh, in the first 10 minutes of trade?
So right now, what we are looking at is probably from the list which I have mentioned. I think KSB is looking very interesting at 825. Lakshmi Electricals is looking very interesting at 1301. Yes. So there's two stocks which we are looking at right now.
Okay, got it. You pointed out KNR Constructions. The earnings have come out fantastic for this one. Also, viewers, profit has zoomed about 300% in Q2. And this is the Tata Infra Fund backed firm that has reported stellar set of numbers, and you see a 13% uptick right now on this one. Let's get back to Gaurang also and include him into the conversation. IndusInd Bank is the top mover today. We were discussing HDFC Bank, Gaurang, with you, but I also wanted to understand a peculiar case of IndusInd Bank, how it has underperformed the entire banking space right now. What's in the offing for this one? How do you read this bank?
So IndusInd and Kotak, Sakshi, were the two big disappointments in terms of second quarter earnings, and rightly deserved correction that we saw. Our sense is that the catch up in terms of earnings improvement will take some time. It won't happen immediately, but then again, if you're a long-term investor, 1450 to 1500 is the target on IndusInd Bank, and I think about 2000 plus, if I'm not mistaken, is the target on Kotak Bank. I think these corrections, like I mentioned, is good opportunity to get into these names.
Okay, great opportunity to get into these banking names. Another one, let's get Mitesh to answer. Ashoka Buildcon, 6.5% higher, and this is also after earnings. The net profit has skyrocketed 4 times, and the revenue is up 16%. So the fundamentals are actually improving for this one. Would you chase the momentum for Ashoka Buildcon, 6.5% higher, Mitesh?
Yeah, with a stop of 220, yes, Asoka Bilcon is a buy because above 235, it's a clear-cut buy on hourly and daily chart, and one can expect a target of around 260, 270. So again, in this market, if you don't have the ability to stick to the strict stop loss policy, don't follow any trade. So 220 with a strict stop loss of 220, yes, I will definitely buy Ashoka Bilcon.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, uh, 23,800 is now being tested. Let us see how it goes. A lot of technical parameters that I track do not advocate a short at this level on 5 and 15-minute charts, it's let us see how it goes. The first 15 minutes have lapsed, so the low is 23,800 and the high is almost 23,860. Now a move below 23,800 has to be chased. Let us see how it goes, and of course we'll talk about the high if it goes above 23,860. So far that's it. Let's look at the weakness within the Nifty. What are the stocks that are pulling the Nifty lower? M&M 2 percentage points lower, 2834. ITC is pulling the Nifty down by 9 points. Reliance is pulling it down by 8 points. Maruti and Sun Pharma by 6 points respectively. 23,800 has been tested. It's a mild bounce from there. Now 23,830. Let us see how it goes. HDFC Bank in strong shape. ICICI Bank in strong shape. SBI and Axis Bank also in strong shape, and all put together the Nifty Bank on its weekly expiry day, ladies and gentlemen, the last one today, is up 167 points, 51,316. Mitesh, any fond memories you have of the Bank Nifty? Today will be the last weekly expiry.
The only memory is that probably the option traders will miss this asset class. We don't that way get into the options, but I think yeah, the hero of the market, as you have said very rightly, Superman is out now. So I think the retail participants will not be that much, and since we are going ahead with increasing in the lot size from 20th of November, so probably rather than the correction in the market, I think retailers are sad about increasing the lot size, and the Superman is going out of the street.
Okay, got that. So, yes, the last of it that option traders can continue to enjoy. Another space that is in focus is the telecom space, and Bharti Airtel is the one that's moved to the top spot again on the Nifty, 0.6% higher in trade. It's been long, Gaurang, since we did talk about the telecom space at large. There was a time period when all the stocks were in fine fettle, and all of these were actually rallying in a one-way upward move. How are you really looking at the space right now, and within that Bharti Airtel and at this current level of 1564?
Well, so we are maintaining coverage on Bharti Airtel on the fundamental side, Reliance Industries because of Jio Telecom. We also had an IPO note on Bharti Hexaware. We don't speak about this name in the telecom space, but that stock has also performed quite well. 585, 600 was the floor of Bharti Hexacom, and it was not very long ago, Sakshi. I think it was about 6-8 months back. The IPO came and the listing happened, and the stock is at close to 1400. So this one also is a wealth creator. So we have a subscriber base growing. We have data points in terms of ARPUs going up. Our sense is that by this year end or early next year, you will have another tariff hike coming through, and possibly data over voice should contribute more to the balance sheet.
Okay.
934, ladies and gentlemen. So far, 23,800 is still with the bulls. The IT index has slipped 72 points. It's the pain that is coming in the NSE 500 that deserves mention. Now half a percentage point lower, 136 down. Remember, the losses on the Nifty 500 are more than the Nifty. So that basically points to broader selling. Let us see whether the change has, yes. See, the advanced decline ratio has worsened. Now 430 stocks are in the green only. In the morning there was 750. So broader spaces are getting sold into. 1800 shares are in the red. So it's almost, 1:4. For every one stock that is rising, 4 are losing hope. Repco Home is something that we should look at. A very sharp burst in price and with a sharp rise in volume. I don't know the reason as yet, but this is something that can be looked at because it's a nice swing trade in the making. Whether or not we will chase it or not will be determined later. But Mitesh, Repco Home.
Yeah, surprising move, as you said. And again, on the volume front, it is really surprising. It's like in less than 20 minutes, such a big volume in such a small counter. So I think the move is sustainable with a stop of 478. One can go long because the 15-minute chart is really giving a promising outlook for the whole day. So for with a stop of 478, one can go long. Intraday target could be 495, 500.
Okay, got that. Let's again look at some of the other pockets then, which are on the move. Only the banks are higher in trade today. Private banks, Nifty Bank and the financial services. Rest all of the pockets, including all the sectors that are down. Small caps are the ones that are losing some more ground, 1.4% lower now in trade. Within the Nifty, you have the banks, you have Bharti Airtel, NTPC, SBI Life Insurance, that's among the top movers. And then you have some more banks that are holding up, and between both private and even the financial services stocks that are up. But let us also look at the broader markets to see if there is anything else that's interesting to talk about. Very few names. Hikal Limited is up in trade. Adani Power is moving up about 5% higher. You have very, very rare names that we can discuss on air. Not too much that's happening right now. Let's discuss the mid and the small caps with you, Gaurang, then. How are you really looking at these two pockets? Are you finding more stocks and sectors where there is more value in these pockets right now? Or do you think some more froth and excess needs to be taken out before it gets more lucrative to look at?
So, I'm sorry, Sakshi, I think your question is with respect to small and mid caps.
Mid caps, yes,
And
that's
which
right.
sectors to look at. So I think auto ancillary, hospitality, healthcare, pharma, and possibly, cement related mid cap, small cap names. These are primarily some 4 or 5 sectors which we believe are good place to hunt for mid cap and small caps. But mind you, I will again repeat, mid cap is definitely advisable. Small cap, you need to have a microscope with you to analyze the credibility of small cap names that you have decided to invest in.
Right, so you did take the names of auto ancillary right there. I wanted to ask you, so Samvardhan came out with a miss on all fronts despite the profit nearly doubling from last year, yesterday in its earnings. We have been discussing the auto ancillary space very, very closely, including the EV play that is benefiting a whole host of companies like maybe a JBM Auto. Electra Green Tech is something that we've discussed a lot with you. How are you now picking and choosing the names here?
So in the auto ancillary universe, we have coverage on Uno Minda, CIE Automotive. My good friend Shail spoke about a name before the market opened up, was Bosch.
Yes.
I think this is a very niche and marquee name as far as the safety of a vehicle is concerned, because they do manufacture some core components which are now going to be a must and compulsory according to the new norms which have been set aside by the Transport Authority. And battery and tire names. I think these are In batteries, we have two, Exide and Amara Mobility. In tires, JK Tire and Apollo Tire is something that we like, along with Balkrishna Industries. Balkrishna Industries is primarily into bus and truck railway tires. BKD Tires is the product which is very known in the market as far as this segment is concerned.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there is no way of putting it in any other fashion except that now 23,800 is with the bears, and call writers will become active here. A 100-point downtick on the Nifty, 23,783, and suddenly you see a flurry of activity happening on a lot of index counters. Let's just go back to our top 10 and look at how pain is accelerating. Okay, what is the top contributor to the pain? Reliance, now down 1 percentage point. That says it all. TCS down 0.5%, ITC down 0.5%, Bajaj Finance in the red, SBI in the red. It's only a 5 rupee uptick on HDFC Bank, which will not help. The pace of decline is very fast in the broader NSE universe. Nifty 500 is about to log in a 1 percentage point fall, and advanced decline is worsening. Now only 335 shares are in the green versus 1900 in the red. Mitesh, a quick one on Nifty, what do you think?
I think now we are in the process of testing that 10% downfall, that level, which is 23,650. So I think between 10 and 12%, the indices probably will make a pause, a temporary pause, and then we'll see whether the deeper correction will take it to 15% or not. But right now, looking at the kind of structure we have both on weekly and daily, I think 23,650 is on the card.
23,650 is on the cards. Okay. Gaurang, before we let you go, over the next 15 odd days or so, how would you really look at navigating, even if we were to go lower from here, even if 23,650, as Nadesh says, is tested and we even go further lower? Do you think this is going to be the best time to start loosening your purse strings?
Well, I personally have, and I have advised our clients to do that, loosening my purse strings. One thing that we did not discuss, Sakshi, is the state election. Maharashtra will witness next week on 20th.
Yes.
Jharkhand is also there.
Yes.
So this will also add to the fun, choppiness, volatility, or whatever you want to call it, or the pleasure to witness the screen in front of me. I'm quite convinced, Sakshi. Like I said, November, December will see a little bit of more choppiness, volatility. There are local and global reasons, one too many, and I don't think market should be in any hurry to give you an up move. And like I mentioned, for me, volatility and India VIX should settle down, and we should see some couple of days of a very narrow range bound trade rather than open up with some strength and then give off completely. These kind of moves normally tend to shake a lot of people, but I don't get shaken.
Okay, got that. Well, thank you so much, Gaurang, for sparing your time for us and being with us on the show. It's always a pleasure to listen to your wise words of wisdom, and our viewers also enjoy it. Shail, you wanted to say something? Yes.
Yes, before Gaurang goes, I just wanted to tell him that, shaken but not stirred has been one of the bylines that all of us have grown up with. But as he says, he's never shaken, and let's hope he's stirring up to buy some quality stocks as far as markets are concerned. But for the moment, 23,766 is there on the cards, and a fairly strong selling pressure coming in. It's only banks that are holding the Nifty up, but weakness all around, and a 0.5 percentage point cut on the IT index. as well. Mitesh.
Yes, sir. So now, as I said, I think this is a great buying opportunity. One should open up the checkbook. As far as the indices are concerned, we are here for a 10% level. So both on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty, yes, we can taste that level. But again, the big money is being made on the long side. I will definitely send you a list of the micro cap stocks which we are buying right now with all the due disclaimer. Since our clients are buying right now, so we have already recommended it. They have direct or indirect position into that. I don't have any position into any of the stocks which we have discussed, but yes, they might have this position into the stock since we are recommending. But again, Shailji, I have a very contra view right now. I think COVID moment is here. We should not miss it.
Okay, we should not be missing it. We'll definitely hope that moment is something that everyone keeps an eye out on. Let's look at the F&O space, which we haven't done so, Mitesh, thus far. Bosch, of course, is the top mover. Zydus Life is making a comeback, 1.5% higher. Manappuram Finance was marked by Shell as well, and NTPC. These are the top movers as far as the F&O space is concerned. Anything that looks good in the F&O pack?
Yeah, two stocks. I think after a very long period of time, UBL, United Breweries, is now coming on the surface. At
Okay.
1870, is looking good with a stop of 230 for the potential target of 1952,000. I think the new rally has started. And among this, I think Titan has also started coming back on the surface. So Titan at 3,200 is looking promising with a stop of 3150 for the potential target of 3250. So yes, two stocks, UBN and Titan, is looking promising from the F&O space.
Okay, got it. Wait, so viewers, we have the Swiggy share that settled on the BSE at 412 rupees per share as against the issue price of 390. This could mean a 5.6% premium listing for Swiggy as well. This is going to be an interesting one to watch out for today, and we will be keeping a keen eye out on both Swiggy and Zomato on the front. And of course, we will also have Acme Solar, which will also be listed today. Both these IPOs had started off at the same time. So along with Swiggy, we will also look at that one. Now Swiggy is moved at 420 rupees per share. It's settled against the issue price of 390. 420, 8% premium is what we are looking at on Swiggy right now. Still waiting for Acme Solar to give us what is the price on that one. But we could be looking at a premium listing. मितेश जी, आपने अप्लाई किया है क्या स्विगी के लिए?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We have applied. Me, my mother, and my wife, all the three got an allotment.
अरे वाह, क्या बात है, कंग्रेचुलेशंस टू यू। तो आज का स्विगी ऑर्डर तो आप ही से हम ऑर्डर करवाएंगे क्योंकि आपको तो अलॉटमेंट मिल गए हैं 3 यहाँ पर। मैनी मैनी कंग्रेचुलेशंस। और देखिए 8% प्रीमियम तो हम उम्मीद यहाँ पर कर ही रहे हैं आपके लिए। अब ये बताइए कि जोमेटो भी आप होल्ड करते हैं?
No, we have not gone for a Zomato because
Okay.
when Zomato came in as an IPO, that was the first company in that particular entire segment. So let us wait first to perform. First has performed. So in the second, we took the risk, applied for the IPO. This is for a long term. So we are not in a hurry to book today.
Okay.
Okay, Acme Solar, Sakshi, has settled 13 percentage points lower at 251, and yesterday's listing Sagility, which sold at 30 rupees, is now 7% lower at 27 rupees 25. So disappointment on Acme Solar. Sagility is disappointing for the second day, and my impression is that once you have the trade happening on Swiggy, this 8 percentage point premium will go, and you will see Swiggy around its IPO price of maybe 390. Let us see how that goes. But 327 crores were raised in an offer for sale and fresh issue by Swiggy. 6,828 crores went back to original promoters and venture funds. The fresh issue was for 4,500 crores. Money for the issue was being raised for funding dark store expansion, prepaying debt and invest in IT infrastructure. Swiggy is a loss-making company. Let me just give you the loss number. For the trailing 12 months, it was 2,397 crores of loss on a revenue of 12,000 crores. And that is how it is, ladies and gentlemen. The Nifty has slipped further. Now 23,700 is upon us in the initial trades as well. Remember, 23,650 will be the 10 percentage point correction on the Nifty from a peak of 26,200. That could be a halt, only time will tell, but 23,550 is a possibility, which is the 200-day moving average. Sakshi.
Right, and the mid and the small caps have lost even further ground. Look at the small cap index, it's now down by over 2% odd or so. So it's the broader markets that are feeling even bigger pressure. Stocks which have lost a lot of ground: PNB Housing Finance 7% lower, Garden Reach 5% lower, NMDC 4.4% lower, Sterling and Wilson, SW Solar, that's 4% lower, ACE, Olectra Green Trek 3.9% lower, Inox Wind, Chennai Petro, Keynes Technology 3.5% lower, RITES, Data Patterns, Angel One, a slew of stocks that are seeing pressure that's built up. The mid caps right now, they are down by 1.5% as well. Here the top stocks which are losing ground are Poonawalla Fincorp, Mankind Pharma, Cochin Shipyard, Mangalore Refinery, Bharat Dynamics, Suzlon, Bank of India, IRB Infra, BSE. After a good set of numbers, 2.7% lower in trade. Kalyan Jewellers, SJVN, a whole host of these stocks that are also now coming under pressure. All the sectors are now down in the red, even the private banks and the Nifty Bank that's also slipped lower in trade. The only gains on the Nifty that remain are NTPC, SBI Life, Bharti Airtel, HUL, HDFC, Axis Bank and Kotak Mahindra Bank. Just about 10 odd names that are holding up at the moment. The top loser on the Nifty is BEL, that's 3% lower, M&M, Tata Steel, Hero Moto, Hindalco and Eicher Motors that are the top drags. So it's the auto space that's losing all the ground. Metals, oil and gas and realty have also turned sour at this point in time. Within the PSU space, the index is down 1.5%. HAL is down 3% at 4108. BEL, NHPC, BHEL, REC, Oil India. These are all the stocks that are actually on the losing side as well. Within the broader markets, there are several stocks that are losing double digits in trade as well. Stocks like Greaves Cotton, Nahar Spinning, these textile spaces which were actually once being seen seeing a one-way move on the upside, they are all also losing ground as of now. Mitesh ji, how are you looking at the markets? We have improved from the low point, 23,790. We came at 23,710 almost. Your own sense?
Yeah, so I think what is coming up on the surface is, I think the FMCG space, we have seen a good amount of buying in last 10-15 minutes in Marico, followed by followed by Bata India. So I think these are the spaces which are coming back. So hopefully let us see where the closing will take place. Hope to see the closing in green, but let's wait and watch for the second half.
$9.53, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at some stocks that are in the green, and they are very few and very far between. ISEC, this is again from the AMC broker setup, that is in the green. Again, I have no hopes that that green will continue, because you see a downtick on BSE now. MCX is flat. Remember, MCX was one of the highest beta counters that went parabolic in trade today. PNB I'd like to mark for two reasons. There's been a huge block deal, one of the original promoters moving out. 2,590 crores worth of shares have been traded, 7 percentage points lower. Needless to say, this is the top traded counter on the NSE today. But for the moment, we are all waiting with bated breath to see how Swiggy goes beyond this 8% premium that it has given us the first tick. This is most likely to be sold into. 390 was the offer price. Bharti Hexa, this is showing signs of strength, 2.7% higher on Bharti Hexa. A nice swing trade in the making. Whether it will continue or not, only time will tell. We've seen a high of about 1540 about a month ago, and a nice bounce coming in. Bharti Hexa for you, Mitesh. What are the charts telling you?
As far as Bharti Hexaware is concerned, yeah, today's tick is a bit promising, but we are waiting for the level of 1430 to get crossed. So if 1430 is getting crossed, probably yes, then there are opportunities where the stock will scale up to 1480, 1520. So let's wait and watch for the 15-minute candle to close above 1430.
Got that. Let's again see. So the markets have turned volatile. 15.1 on India VIX right now. It's a 4% uptick. We'll have to continue to monitor how the markets move. It's been a very, very volatile start for the markets. 9:55, 5 minutes to go before we wind up the show and then move on to Swiggy as well. Mitesh, let's actually get you to understand. In the broader markets, are you looking at any specific stocks? Since you began by talking about small caps and micro caps as interesting names, you did give us 4-5 names initially, but at the current level in the mid and small caps after this downtick, what is looking positive?
Apart from this, Sakshi, one space which we are closely looking at is an MNC stocks. So I think the ABB, the Siemens, Honeywell, and all those counters are looking pretty promising. We are buying branches as far as MNC pack is concerned. So we are very much bullish on two spaces. First is the micro cap, the small cap counter on the smaller side, and on the larger side where the ticket size is higher is all the MNC stocks. So probably ABB, the Honeywell, the Siemens. These are the stocks which we are looking at right now.
Okay, got that.
156, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at Manappuram Finance. This is something that is buzzing in the green, and there is a news that has come in, which is that Bain Consulting is looking for a deal to get a stake into Manappuram Finance. This is again a media report. Whether that will happen or not, only time will tell. But if you see the long-term chart, the most recent high is where the counter is at 159, and let us see how it goes. But the recovery is from a low of 139, and let us see how it moves. But oscillating between 23,780, 23,730 is what the Nifty is doing at about 9:57. All of us are waiting for the listing of Swiggy, which has settled at an 8% premium, 420, and Acme Solar, which is settled at a discount of 13 rupees, 13 percentage points lower. I want to see what Hyundai is doing, down 4.5%, 1722. Afcon's in the green, 461, but this is also again below issue price. Sagility is below issue price, so it's not turning out to be a great day for all the recently listed IPOs. Sakshi, 9:58.
Right, absolutely. We'll thank you, Mitesh, for being with us on the show, and then we'll shift focus to Swiggy. We hope this gets better, like Mitesh has pointed out, but we'll have to see how it goes forward from here on the markets. Good to have you with us as always, Mitesh, and hope you have a great time till the time we meet you next. Swiggy, remember, has got an underperform rating on its listing day itself. Brokerage firm Macquarie believes that Swiggy has a significant growth runway ahead. though its journey to profitability may be challenging and uneven as well. We have seen Macquarie initiate a coverage on the stock with an underperform rating and a price target of 325 rupees per share. The target suggests a potential downside of 17% from the issue price. Right now, there is an 8% premium. You can see those live visuals coming in. All the team members dressed in the Swiggy uniform right there, getting set to ring the bell. Remember, we have a 420 as the price which is settled on the exchanges before the markets hit open for Swiggy, and we'll have to get that price going. But interestingly, there are these employees who are going to be extremely excited whether or not there is a premium listing, because around 500 Swiggy employees, Shail, are set to earn 1 crore rupees each when the firm makes its stock debut today. 500 crore patis will be generated because 9,000 crore rupees has been put aside for about 5,000 staffers who've been associated with the companies in terms of the ESOP right there. So those are going to be the ones who are going to be extremely celebrating this listing right there. So there you have it. It's 10 a.m. Let's see what the price has come in for Swiggy. Okay, 400. At this current level, it's listed at 400 odd levels right now in front of me. 395 now, coming in lower. So there you have it. 2.5% of an uptick is what we've seen for Swiggy. It did list at that 412 odd mark at 5.6% higher, but then it swiftly came down lower in trade for Swiggy. Shail, what is the price of Acme? Are you getting that?
Yes, Acme is with me, down 6.5% at 271. This is what Swiggy is at the moment, 398. My bet is you'll see a negative tick on Swiggy. Yes, it's an important landmark as far as both the organization and Indian markets are concerned. Sakshi, now two monopoly stocks. Actually, it's a duopoly. One controls 50%, the other controls 50% in online food catering business as far as India is concerned. Both of them are listed. It will be an exciting day for you and me. Now we have to track two. Let's look at what Zomato is doing. At the moment, Zomato is 1.7% lower, 256. Remember, they were very, very smart to raise $1 billion ahead of Swiggy's IPO. And probably it is that war chest which will now come into effect for Swiggy as well as Zomato. Swiggy's raised 4,500 crores in the IPO part, and Zomato has raised $1 billion from preferential allotment. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hope that you continue to see a green tick on Swiggy, but you know, markets have their own way of understanding a loss of 2,400 crore rupees, which was last reported. Sakshi, let's wrap it up.
Absolutely, 120 points lower, 23,763. We'll see how it goes forward from here on the markets. It's been a volatile start. Let's see how it goes, both on the primary market as well as on the secondary market. We'll keep you posted with all the developments right there and with every tick. So stay tuned with Business Today television viewers.
Hello and welcome to BT's edition of Most Powerful Women. Today we have here with us Devita Saraf, who is the chairperson and CEO of View Group.
Yes.
Hello ma'am.
Hi.
Pleasure to have you here. First of all, congratulations on winning.
Thank you so much.
So I want to start by asking you that how do you think the technology and AI will be incorporated in the industry where you are working?
I think AI is going to be as big as a revolution as the internet itself. So I wouldn't be surprised if the content that we watch, the way it's made and the way it's portrayed is going to change. But my older brother's in the AI business and he'll have a better answer to that. So I will come back to you with better answers next time.
So, do you think the slowdown in consumption will sort of have any effect on the industry?
Well, what has happened is that the volume of business has reduced, but the value has increased because the premium segment is actually still doing really well. And we took a bet on the premium segment over a decade ago. So this year has actually been one of the best Diwalis we've had in the longest time, just because we were able to, reach the customer when they wanted a more high-end product for which we were already the experts in. So I don't think the slowdown is going to affect companies which are focused on the more high-end audience.
Can we see any more new innovations coming up in the space?
Yeah, absolutely. We have launched 3 new series of televisions this year and a 4th one this next month. So for us at View, there's always something new, and I think innovation is the name of the game. So we have a lab that comes up with new products every year, and whether it's the biggest TV or the TV with Gen Z features or TV now that you can make into art, there's a lot that's always coming up with us. It's our way of life.
What's your advice, tips to the new entrepreneurs?
Well, I would say personally is one, focus on profitability. That's something that we've done for so many years, and because I own 100% of the company, it's been important for me that my company is financially stable and I am financially stable. Especially as a young woman, it's been very important for me to make sure that my finances are taken care of. The second thing I would say is don't compare yourself. I think a lot of people have gotten very carried away